Matthew McConaughey returns to the profession on screen that made him a star in the first place. Hello there, everybody. I'm movie critic Nick Iacobucci, as always, for RealScreenReviews.com, and I'm happily joined by my returning guest critic, the lovely Debbie D'Angelo.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Sure.
And our next movie review is The Lincoln Lawyer. The Lincoln Lawyer opened on Friday, March 18th, 2011, and it stars the aforementioned Matthew McConaughey, William H. Macy, Josh Lucas, Ryan Phillippe, Marisa Tomei, and Michael Pena. This film comes to us from director Brad Furman, former assistant to Julia Roberts and director of Take from 2009. And now I will, as always, turn it over to my guest critic to tell us about the premise of The Lincoln Lawyer.
The Lincoln Lawyer says it all because he's a lawyer who practices out of the back of his Lincoln town car.
Is that where they got that?
I think so.
How about that?
It didn't take me too long to put that together. Basically, he's a lawyer, maybe a little on the shady side. You're kind of walking on the edge there, who's in the middle of a big murder trial. And as it progresses, he realizes it's kind of entwined with a previous trial that he was involved in, a previous case. So it's a big murder mystery, a little more... a few more layers to it than you'd initially think, but that's the premise of the movie.
Okay, and as usual, I attempt to guess whether or not Debbie liked the movie, and I'm going to say you did like this movie.
Yeah!
Yeah, I really like this movie a lot, too. Now, why did you like this movie?
Well, Matthew McConaughey.
What a shock.
Yeah.
What a shock that was the reason. Okay, no, but there's more than that. With you, there's always more than that. So.
I like it when he plays a lawyer, but I thought he brought some really great traits to that character.
I think he did, too.
He was smart, yet he was cool and kind of laid back. And I just liked the dimension he brought to it.
Right.
The other thing I really liked about it was there was an amicable relationship between him and his ex, and you don't see that a lot.
It's funny you should bring that up. I'm going to touch base as long as you brought that up. I love Marisa Tomei. She plays his ex, and I always find it such a coincidence that she happens to work in the district attorney's office, and I always find that really rather convenient. I love her to death. I thought she brought something to the film, but I really think that the movie was interesting enough on its own that you really could have taken her out of the film, and it still would have been a very. I thought he was great in the role of Mickey Haller, and. It was nice to see him not in a romantic comedy for the first time, and it seems like forever. And he did bring a lot of dimension. He did bring a lot of charisma and characteristics to the screen that I thought we haven't seen with him in quite a while.
A real comedic murder mystery, because I really liked his sense of humor. I liked the funny dialogue. I even liked his less than savory clients.
Yes.
I mean,
Ryan Phillippe, I thought, was stand out as
the
defendant. He's the person that's accused of this, and like you said, there are layers to this story, so you don't want to give anything away, but he's played the arrogant person before, but I thought he shined. I thought he was fantastic in this.
I thought there was really nothing to dislike about this movie.
There was a backstory also about him losing a case, and that could have been an innocent man, and that character is brought to vivid life by an actor, a very underrated actor named Michael Pena, and I think he's one of the most underrated actors making movies today, and I thought he brought a huge part of sympathy to this film for such a small character in the film. I mean, he's only in it maybe 10, 15 minutes, but he brings this whole other side to this story where I think it would just be, he'd be like some wisecracking attorney trying to, but this brings a whole other side to the story, and I thought it was very, very well done.
Very strong characters, great dialogue, kept you interested because there were kind of layers to it. It wasn't all as it seemed initially.
Now, I think if you're a big fan of CSI or Law and Order, you might see the end or some of the twists coming, more than other people, but I like this movie. I liked everything about it. How many stars are you going to give it?
3.
3 stars? We're going to be, believe it or not, we're going to be right on the same page, and I want to say this is definitely above average. This is definitely a solid movie, 3 stars, and more than worth your time and money at the movies. Well, Debbie, thank you so much for being here.
Go see it.
And I say, I agree with her totally. Go see it. And until next time, remember, folks, we're not always right, but only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.